Okay, now this one goes out to all my folks who drive trucks.
Alright, so I'm giving the Green Goblin here a little TLC today. I gotta go to Rural King to get some bolts for the F-150 to put the exhaust manifolds on and continue on that project. But I thought I'd pull this truck in here to give it some attention because I've been running it and some stuff's been getting in the way. And like these hoses, I need new hoses. I was looking at, I believe it was the red one, and inside the spring it must have got down by the exhaust and melted a little bit, so it needs new hoses there. But I'm looking at a way to do a quick connect for this valve. And these have the compression style fitting ends on them, so I got one adapter there that I'm going to take with me to see if I can adapt it to like an air compressor style fitting that I would put on a 90, so that way it won't fill up with water and stuff. But I'm doing that. I removed an air line here that ran up to this valve on the floor. I believe that's for a lift axle. It had this hose here connected to it. The guy used to run a dump trailer, so I imagine it was for a lift axle. I'm taking that out. It's in the way. The big truck had one that I took out. It wasn't hooked up. But I need to do something about this, and I don't know what they have going on here because it looks like that will screw right into that. But it's got this big adapter deal on it. And I got another one of them right here. This, I suppose, is to get air between the two tanks faster, although it's connected here, so I could probably get rid of that one. I don't see why I need that, but I got to get a plug for here, adapters for there, and that. But I'm getting some 5-gallon buckets. I'm going to drain the hydraulic fluid out of that. I'm going to save it because we can put it in the dump truck, but I'm going to get rid of that tank. I'm going to get rid of the valve, the lever, and the PTO shaft for the hydraulics. I'm going to keep it all in case I ever want to put it back on. I kept all the stuff for the big truck in case I want to put it back on. It's just handy stuff to have around, but I want to clean this up a little bit just because it's a mess. The air tanks I'm going to move into this slot here. This is going to get moved up there for right now. Well, not right now, but this needs moved up there if I'm going to continue to pull semi-trailers with it. When we get another truck and I'm not going to pull semi-trailers with this anymore, I'm going to get rid of the air valve deal. I'd probably move it to the back in case I want to pull an air braked tag-along trailer or whatever. And the lights and stuff, I'll get a junction box put in because I'll put a plug here for a gooseneck and a plug at the back for a regular trailer. But I would like to move this forward because when I do pull semi-trailers with it right now, they come right across here, and I just don't want all that right there in the way. There's a bolt there. I can move it and put it in the bolt there. I'll have to redo my air lines, these two here, and they're pretty brittle, so I could probably get some new ones. And then the electrical would have to get strung up. But I want to get the exhaust fixed before I do that because it's a disaster. I don't know why, and maybe you guys can see it, but you got the outlet at the top, and then he cut another hole just below that. Yeah, let's see, I had a light here a second ago. You guys can't really see that. Here it is. But he had, see, he cut a hole there. Don't ask me why, but I want to redo all that. That'll get redone when I do the exhaust manifolds. Because what I plan on doing is I'm going to collect them down to one. I've got two ideas going. I'm either going to collect them down to one and run a stack just because when you're using this truck and you got a semi-trailer, all the exhaust just runs down along the back and seeps out, and it gets people sick. So I'm thinking about either doing that, running it up that way, or running it to the back. We're going to put a flatbed on it and doing like 45 exhaust out the back. That's the idea. I might just do a stack as well, just because the exhaust is up and out of the way. Yeah, it's a gas truck, and it might have a stack on it. Whatever. It's functionality, and not just because like some people do it. Because this truck does burn a little rich, so it's quite potent, and I'm pretty sure that's what all this crap is here, is just exhaust that has stuck to the truck, or it got wet and oily, and then the soot, because it does put out some soot. So I'm off to Rural King to get some buckets. That tank's going to come off today. These aren't going to get relocated just quite yet, but that tank's coming off today. If nothing else, I might just get some plugs and stick in these, because I don't need the air hoses right now. I got the big truck to pull semi-trailers with if I have to move them for right now. So and then this pump assembly and stuff will be off today, and then I'll probably gonna work on that truck. But this truck needs some other stuff. I got it in here to do a little bit of this stuff too, and get part numbers and stuff off of it. I need to work on the carburetor. I need a new valve for the brakes. Ugh. That valve there, it leaks. You got to hit it and it'll quit leaking, so it needs replaced. And then probably while I'm up and around doing that, I might run another wire through from that for a brake controller. Also, I need to look at the blower motor, because it's making a heck of a racket, and I need to put a switch in to shut it off, because the switch doesn't work. The horn needs some attention paid to it. I hit it the other day and it just stayed on, but I gotta take that out, check it out, because what I've been doing for now, I've just been unplugging it. The air compressor has a leaky thing. I gotta tighten it up, and I believe that might be it. I want to look at putting a radio in it, because it gets quite lonesome driving it around without a radio. And I believe that's it for right now. I don't think I need to do anything else to it. Oh, I want to get the gas gauges working. They, as far as I know, well, I know it doesn't work right now, but I don't know if it's a bad sending unit, a bad gauge, a bad wire. It reads above full, which someone told me that's the, that it might be getting full power all the time, because when it gets power all the time, that's when it reads full, something like that. So we're going to look into that and do a little bit of cleanup, so I can work on more than one thing at once. But that's the plan. I'd like to take the fenders off. These are in the way, and I want to get either a round fender or just a fender put on there. I got some stainless steel fenders from a truck I got that they just barely cover it, but I might slap them on there just to cover it up, because it's getting mud and everything all over the truck. I don't want that, so I might try to rig them up, just get rid of these things, because they don't do nothing. I mean, yeah, if you had a semi-trailer or something, they'd keep the mud off the air tanks, because your trailer is going to catch all the mud. But without a trailer, your mud just comes up and just right onto the cab. So them need resituated somehow or something. So we're going to look into that. But that's that. So let me go to Rural King and get the stuff I need. So we all have that one store. No matter how hard we try, we can't get out of it for less than $100. No matter how hard we try. And for me, that store is Rule King. Something about that store, I can't get away from it for less than $100. No matter what you buy. I bought some buckets, some lids, and then bolts and all the stuff I needed to convert this bad unit over to the quick attach things that I wanted to do. But a bag of bolts for that truck. The only thing I bought for that truck. The buckets for the hydraulic fluid, which I don't even know if I got enough. That's just what I guesstimated. Thread tape. Now I went with big quick connects because the 1/4 inch ones was just a little bit smaller than the openings that were in the fittings for these. Let's see, I got one in my pocket. 1/4 inch was just a fuzz smaller than that. 1/2 inch just a little bit bigger than that, and I wanted all the airflow I could get since I'm dealing with brakes. Now granted, that ain't going to do me a bit of good if it's choked down somewhere else, which it very well could be with these lines here. So the price difference between good 1/4 inch fittings and these was $3. So just go bigger. So then I got, let's see, I don't feel like that's all the crap. There should be more. Okay. Yeah, where is the other stuff at? There they are. So I got some 90-degree elbows. So that way I can have them lay flat. 90-degree elbows. Those will connect to the female, or the females. I'm putting the females on here so that way crud and stuff will stay out of them. And then I got these are 1/2 inch compression to 1/2 inch pipe for these, and the compression will fit these. Now I'm not going to reuse them lines. I'm going to get new lines from Napa or wherever I can find them at. I'm working right up by Fleet Pride, so probably go to Fleet Pride to get those. But $100. I mean, $7, $3, $7, $7, $7, $11, $15, $11, $15, couple bucks, $3 a piece, $1 a piece, $7, I think is what it all was. Something like that. So it adds up quick. Just can't get out of that store for less than $100, and I didn't buy anything extra. It's all the stuff I needed, plus water. Got to stay hydrated. So let's get some of these parts on here. All right, we will get to putting these air fittings and stuff together. Let me put the plug in this tank real quick. Put a little thread tape on it. Don't know if it needs it, but we're going to put it on there anyways. Some of these fittings are tapered just enough that you don't have to tape them, but a little tape never hurt. You guys probably can't see this. Frame's in the way. Okay, sealed off. Now, we'll do the elbows. I don't think there was any tape on this stuff that I took off of here. But that tape never sticks around anyways, it seems like. So, I'm just going to put a little bit on here. It's not like it's going to leak unless you're using it, so thing is, doing the 90s, one's going to be in the way of the other, I have a feeling. Maybe not. We'll put them on partial way till we get them to where we need them. I just got to remember which one's which. This is the red one. So maybe we'll put red paint on them or something when we're done. Red paint and blue paint. And everything. I believe it was this hose was the one that was melted. Strip it down later. That's not good. It says right on there, emergency. Might have to get my little torch just to give her a little heat. Oh, there we go. Man, she's been in there a day or two. Crappy thread tape, I can tell you. Don't think I'll get another turn out of that. Might be able to get another one out of that one. Let's go for it. My luck. No more. No more. That's all the way in. Now, I don't think I'll be able to get that in there. Might be too low now. Might have to turn the other way. Be too low. Now to work on that one, so I have to take that one out and re-thread tape it more likely. I should still be able to get that on it. I hope. I mean, it's right there. Probably ought to put some tape on that. when it goes up there to the front, I'll probably put them on the other way, but for right now, I'm going to have them facing forward. One just fits. Just clears. Then what I can do to test to see if they leak, I can go release the brake and hit the other brake, pull the brake valve, and you can test for leak because it'll charge it. That's not even the right one. What am I doing here? Where's the other one at? Yeah, it fell, didn't it? No, it didn't. Over here. Okay, there's those. Now I was planning on doing something like this anyways, where if I put a flatbed on this truck, I still wanted to pull semi-trailers to where I could unhook the air hoses and stuff real quick. So I wouldn't have to wrench them off and put plugs in that. So there's that. And then these will be for the new air hoses, which might come with the compression fittings on, I don't know. But these will screw into these like so, and then we'll plug into there, and then bam, quick attach air fittings. Now these are G style 1/2 inch, if you're wondering. So bingo bango. I'll put these in the toolbox so I don't lose them. Alright, I can't get the drain plug out, so we're going to take the hose loose. Now I don't have a wrench to fit it, so I'm using a crescent wrench. Now, I got a cheater bar on my crescent wrench. And I know what you're saying. That's a bad idea. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll know if it's a bad idea before you guys will. Because here we go. Yeah, that ain't even working. That ain't even working. Yeah. Let me try something else. Alright, since I can't get any of these hydraulic fittings or lines loose because somebody put them together with the force of God, I figured My two options were cut the hose, which I'm going to have to cut the hose anyways because I can't get it broke loose, or drill a hole. So I drilled a hole through the plug that I couldn't get out. So she's just going to drain nice and easy. I didn't put a big hole in it because I didn't want fluid to just rush everywhere. I can manage that. So when the fluid's out, we'll cut the hydraulic line and do all that good stuff. I mean, when I took the wet line off this truck a while ago, I had to cut it. I couldn't get any of the metal fittings or anything apart. Somebody put them together with Loctite and then welded them, it seems like. I mean, they didn't really weld them, but they might have used Loctite, because I couldn't get nothing apart. So we'll let that drain. I'll find something else to do. Get part numbers or something off of parts that I need, and we'll go from there. Alright, to finish up on today's adventures of working on the Chevy, I'll give you a rundown of what I've done since the last time we had a video. You can see the tank's gone now. I got the tank off. You can't see where that was anymore because I painted over it, but I took the pump off. That was welded. I had to cut the welds off. I cut the hydraulic hose because I couldn't get it broke free. The lever, took the bolt out. PTO shaft, which is surprisingly long. I got to get the other end off the transmission. It's just a slip yoke type thing, so it slipped out. Have to take that off yet. I cut the lever off. It had a piece of pipe welded there and a piece of pipe welded there, and it slid in. It's right there. That was a homemade thing, and I mean, whoever made that, did a decent job at building that. It was well put together for what it was. So I got that off of there. I had 3 full 5-gallon buckets and a little under half. There was probably 16, 17 gallons of hydraulic fluid left in that tank, so all that's been drained out. There's the fenders I was going to put on it, but I'm not going to put them on it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm getting old. It's 8 o'clock, and here the past month, I haven't been able to make it past like 9:30. So I'm getting tired. But I mocked them up. They're not really going to work. I mean, they just cover the tread. But with this fifth wheel in here, I can't mount them up without fabricating some elaborate thing. So that'll have to wait for now. If I can find a flatbed for it, I might put a flatbed on it, because I have the big semi to move trailers. I don't really have to use this one to move trailers. If I need to move the trailers, I'm going to make the flatbed to where it'll pick off easy. And then I got them quick couplers. I can just plug in my hoses, slap the fifth wheel back on it, and we're good to go. This fifth wheel's got 2 bolts on each side, and then 2 bolts, one here and one there. That's all that hold it. Wait, and 2 back here. Because this bolt, you could take this bolt out, but it ain't going to do nothing, because this is welded right here. But it's got a piece of steel going across there, and then it's got a bolt right by the frame that kind of sandwiched them on there. So 8 bolts, and that can come off. It ain't nothing to swap it around. So get a flatbed on it, and then I won't have to worry about the cab getting dirty. I got my part numbers off this brake valve. That's like a $75 valve, but that one leaks, so we'll replace it eventually. I got to take the air cleaner off and get what model carburetor that is, so I can look at getting a rebuild kit for it. Or I might just send it. I'm pretty sure the local Napa store rebuilds them. I might just have them do that, but I need to get that taken care of and give her a tune-up. But for right now, The only thing that we're going to do to this truck is what I've already done. I have like 1 or 2 things just to tidy up, and then it's going out the door. I've been wanting to do this stuff for a while, and I have other stuff to work on, but it's been bothering me, so I decided to do it. When the truck does come back in here, it's going to be back there in what I call the death spot, because normally stuff goes back here to die. But if it doesn't die, it just sits there for a while. Case in point, this truck. It's going to go back there, and the front clip's going to come off of it. And where you're going through the engine compartment, that's when it'll get the carburetor done. It'll get a tune-up. It'll get whatever it needs in the engine bay. It's going to get the air tanks moved inside the frame. Those are going to get moved. And maybe by then I'll have decided or have purchased a flatbed, and we'll be looking at that. But front clip will come off and the hood will come off. Any body work that needs done to that will get done, and I think I'm going to paint the truck red. Let me know what you guys think. Should it stay the Green Goblin and go with this color green? This is like a hunter green. Or should we paint it red? I mean, red's my color, and I'm really pulling for the red. I got the red F-150. We got the red tractors. That truck's going to be red. We got the red semi. I'm pulling for red. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. If we paint it red, obviously it's not going to be the Green Goblin anymore. It'll be something else. But that'll be when it comes back into the shop. I was looking at doing an axle swap to it. Right now I have the opportunity to update this truck to a 2009 on everything except the cab. What I have the opportunity to get is, I believe it's an F750 chassis with the axles, a 6.7 Cummins, and a 6-speed. It's got 22.5 tires, air brakes. The GVW is actually heavier than this truck, but with this cab on that truck, it would be whatever this cab's rated at. So I have the opportunity to do that. If I choose to go that route, I mean, that's if you piece all the stuff out that I would do to this truck, it's going to total a lot more than what I can get this deal for. But I don't have the time and don't have the money really either to do that. I could do it, but I want to get this new tractor, and this truck really doesn't need that done to it right now. I mean, the engine that's in it's still good, the axles are good. I just would like to update it so it's easier to get parts for and stuff. But I have 4 rims, so I could put new tires on the back, which would help it ride a little bit better. Update it that much more. I just got to get 2 more rims for the front, and then I can have 22.5s on it with easier to get tires and stuff like that. So that's stuff to worry about the next time, but it's approaching. I got to look for some body parts for it. I'm pretty sure these were just a regular old pickup truck cab. The only difference is the front clip. So Nick said he had some doors that might fit it. I need to change the doors. It needs a rocker panel. The other side needs a cab corner. Fenders and stuff need some TLC. But that's on the list for when it comes back in here. Right now I got done what I wanted to do to it. Cleaned this mess up. Got rid of some unneeded stuff. And got her prepped for when she comes back in here, basically. So that's the end of that. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Alright, so I'm doing a little more work to the C65. And I don't know if I'll put this in the C65 video or if I'll make it a separate video. Might just make it a separate video, but if you remember in that video or scene, there was a hose running from here to there, I think it was. One of these ports to the other port, to this port over here. Okay. I broke it, and I thought, well, I'll just do without it because I got a supply line right here. Well, let me pick up my tape measure. I fired the truck up to try to move it out the other day so I could sweep up, and it built up air pressure. It built it up a little bit faster than normal, which had me a little concerned. And I went to release the park brake, and nothing would work. I could pump the brake pedal, and the brake pedal I could hear air. You know, I had air, but I didn't have air to take the park brake off. So I thought, well, I opened this valve here, and I didn't have any air. So I figured, well, this check valve's either on backwards or it's plugged up or something, and it's only getting air through this line, which obviously in my brain supplied the brakes and the gauge and the air governor. So today I was out here and I was going to take the check valve off and blow in it. I got another check valve here too that was in the end that ran from over there, and I was taking this off. I took this off, you know, let the air out of that tank, and was taking this off. Just about had it out, and it just blew off. I'm like, what the heck? Where'd all that air come from? Because there was no air over here, and you're thinking, well, maybe that was plugged up. No, wasn't plugged up. What it is, you see this seam right here? This is 2 tanks in one. I thought it was just where somebody took 2 tanks and welded them together, but I was wrong. This is a split tank. This side would be your primary tank, I believe. This runs the service brakes. That one runs the service brakes. This tank would probably be your secondary tank. That line runs the park brake. So I have to go to Rule King and get some stuff to get air back to this side of the tank. But what I'm looking at doing is, I'm looking at getting, this is an 8-inch round tank. I'm looking at getting 3 of them and mounting in here. This is 36 inches inside or something like that. I'm going to get 32-inch long. They'll fit in here no problem. 8 inches wide. And it'll be the wet tank, primary tank, secondary tank. My air supply is going to run down that side of the frame. The air compressor is on that side of the truck. Excuse me. And I believe right there, it's either right there or just down from it, is where it jumps across and comes in right here. But I'm going to put my wet tank, first tank on that side, and then the other tanks across here. The tanks that I'd be getting, I believe, have the bracket across here, so I'm going to have to probably change up. Well, I wouldn't have to change up too much. I could just get a spacer block and block them up. But we'll see, because I don't want them any lower than this, and I don't want them any higher. So 8 inches will work perfect. And that's what I was basing off this one, and the way these ones mount up under there. But the new tanks that I would be getting wouldn't mount like that, and then we'll just get rid of these tanks. But that little tank's neat. It scared me because it had, you know, like 90 pounds of pressure, and then, phew, holy crap. So let me get to working on this a little bit and see what I have to go get. I have to get another 90 for sure, because I demolished the 90, taking it out of there. And we'll get on with this little project. I'd like to get this truck out of the barn to sweep up where it's at. So, and I got to get a price on some air tanks before we can go with that. But we'll catch you in a minute.